has to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good afternoon, Cayman Islands, and definitely good morning to our global family. Welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks on this Monday afternoon. We're Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm your host, Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you today. Fresh new week, another couple days just before Christmas. Yes, and like all of the other episodes, today is going to be, again, very informative. Your participation is always key, and definitely your feedback is always welcome. Now we're going to go into a little bit of talking about just before we logged off on Friday. I think I got into Friday's episode talking about Cayman's population, and a lot of you were just shocked by those stats. And you know, it has surged past 88,000. Yes, and we're on our way. Whether or not you're ready for it or not, based on what is forecasted, we're on our way to what, 95,000? And with this new immigration legislation that was successfully passed, and it is envisaged to go into effect in March of 2026, the big question is then, is reform enough to keep pace with this growth? And I'm hoping this evening, this and any other topic that you feel is warranted or you want more clarity on, we will break it down, what numbers really mean for jobs, housing, and everyday life. And I'm quite sure a lot of you have felt it and is feeling it, the impact on your rent. I definitely felt the impact in grocery shopping, that's for sure. But even in your commute or even at your workplace, I'm quite sure we're feeling the impacts. And I invite you to call in and share your story, give us your feedback, participate in this discussion. This is one space where you don't have to feel anyway because I peep a Caymanian, I'm not. No, you don't have to feel that way at all about this space. Once it's dealt with in a respectful manner, all voices matter. And that's what we're here for. So yes, call in, share your stories, give us your feedback, because this is, you know, about Cayman's future, and your voice, every voice matters. Now, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for information and entertainment purposes. It is not a substitute for professional legal or medical advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Yes, 345-936-8255 is the number to call to be a part of this discussion here on this fabulous Monday Happy holidays to everyone. Hoping that you all had a great weekend. But guess what? Attention, Cayman shoppers, and I know y'all are shopping. International Lighting is still at it. Oh, yeah, at Ed's Plaza, North Sound Road. They're having their final sale for 2025. Yes, get incredible deals on curtains. And he also has bed spread sets that comes in 24 or 32 pieces. Now, you're just not talking about comforters. You know, after a while, they get clumpy and all that sort of stuff. No, these are not comforters. These are bedspread sets. They come in pieces 24 and 32. I've seen them. Beautiful colors. You get curtain panels. You get the pillow shams. You get the actual bedspread. You even get one of them. I saw a actual little hamper, like a pop-up hamper. And you get all the mats and the panels for your curtains and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? Go down and check it out for yourself. Yes, even curtains. He has special sales on curtains as well. And these bed and bags are by Chanel's. It's a brand by the name of Chanel's. So you want to unbeatable prices for the takeaway. I have seen them going out and they did not last, to be honest with you, from what I'm hearing, but they're just a few more pieces, excellent, vibrant colors as well. But what's so good about it is actually you get bathroom sets along with it as well. So we know how you Caribbean people are, how we Caribbean people are when it comes to Christmas. We want to actually make sure our space is all healthy, pretty and festive and decorative. And we invite you to just go down to International Lighting. But here, remember, every $50 that you spend at International Lighting, you still get a chance to win a round trip ticket to any Cayman Airways destination. Just keep your ticket. So don't miss out while this sale goes on. And it's the last sale of the year at International Lighting, Ed's Plaza, North Sound Road here in Grand Cayman. And if you want more information and get more information as well on those bed spread sets, 24 and 32 pieces, feel free to give them a call. 345-949-5141. That's 345-949-5141. He also have other accessories as well. There's a bathroom palace upstairs. You want lighting, chandeliers, that sort of stuff. Edward and the crew has it all down there. And guess what? He has printing as well. If you want to do those nice t-shirts for the festive season, let's say the family is going out for that trip over the holidays, Edward now not only brings in the t-shirts, which we know him for, but he also can do printing on the spot. So it's one-stop shop right there at Ed's Plaza. So yes, go down Bordentown. Well, yeah, thank you for telling me that, Santi, 4816. He also has his location in Bordentown as well. So yes, you can't miss out Edward's down there and the Bordentown location as well for all of you who don't want to venture into town. He also has all of these conveniences. And I know that he has the ability that should something not be available in the quantities or lengths that you want, that they can arrange to get stuff to the Bordentown location if they have it in the town location. Let's say you don't want to come into town. Yes, so he can arrange that for you as well. But beautiful Christmas mats as well, those rubber ones for all of you all, like Miss Aldine in the kitchen for long hours of time with those rubber mats that helps with you standing for a long time. Yeah, he has those as well in different patterns. If you don't want the festive season ones, he has them in other patterns as well. But go down and check it out for yourself. Excellent blackout curtains as well. Yeah, I got all of mine from him this year. I did, and they work fabulous. So yes, there you have it. What's up with the weather this afternoon and into tonight before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be talking about? The synopsis, thanks to the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Isolated showers and period of light rain possible across the Cayman area during the next 24 hours as a cold front edges closer to Cuba. In addition, moderate to locally fresh winds are expected as a ridge of high pressure builds behind this front across the southeastern United States. and increases in pressure gradient across the Cayman area. Satellite imagery shows scattered to numerous clouds across Western Caribbean with isolated thunderstorms noted south of Grand Cayman. Now, tonight's forecast calls for cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will fall near to the mid-upper 70s. Winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Now, tomorrow forecast calls for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near to the mid-80s with a heat index of 93. Winds will be northeasterly 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Now, high tide will be at 6:52 this evening. There will be a low tide at 1:33 a.m. tomorrow and a high tide at 8:33 in the morning. Sun will set this evening at 5:49 and sunrise tomorrow at 6:52. The sun will set tomorrow evening at 5:49. Now, the outlook calls for a few isolated showers remain possible through Wednesday as a result of lingering moisture associated with the front that we spoke to earlier. So there you have it. I know today we had light showers and then it's just torrential rain. I'm hearing that there are heavier rains further in town, but I know what we got here in Prospect, there was a lot. It came down just as a fine spray, just those sprays that'll get you a flu. And then out of nowhere, bang, beautiful. Not for me. I love the rain, but I don't like the frogs. But I didn't have to water my beautiful impatiens, thanks to Vigoro Nursery and the team over there. I didn't have to water them. Yeah, so let's get into it before I see you all piling in there, because today we're celebrating with Miss Charlene Bodden. Happy birthday to you, Miss Charlene. Celebrating your birthday today. Fabulous as ever. And we're all here from the Sabrina Speaks family, wishing you a very happy birthday and wishing you all the best on your special day. Anybody recognize this face? That's just Marva's mom, Marva Reed's mom. So she's definitely bigging up her mommy today on her special birthday. Yeah, we're also got, I don't have an image though, but a very close family friend is Juan Christian over there in Florida celebrating his birthday today. And we know he is also on the radar. Yeah, once I know it, I'm going to big you up. And no one is forgotten because we know we're bridging it over there, even in the United States and across the world. We celebrate birthdays, but we also have to take this moment to send our heartfelt condolences to Miss Elrita Seymour's family. Miss Elrita, this is a photo that I captured from Facebook. Our sincere condolences goes out to Miss Elrita Seymour, who passed away earlier today. Miss Elrita is known for her scrumptious dishes, one of those stalwart Caymanian females who gave a lot to our community in culinary delights, and even to the last, that's where she found her joy. And everyone remembers Miss Elrita cooking, and our thoughts and prayers are with the entire family as they mourn her loss and grieving through this time. So again, for those of you, the family and friends of Miss Elrita, and I'm quite sure she has impacted so many of us, be it culinary or just being one of those strong females here in the Cayman Islands where our history is born on. We just want to, from all of us here, the Sabrina Speaks family, we mourn your loss. We thank you for your life, and we're hoping they give you strength, your family's strength as you navigate this time. So yes, our sincere condolences to Miss Elrita Seymour and her entire family. Yes, we don't miss anybody out, and that's what we're all here, because we're all one family. Let's see who is here with us. Hello, sir. How are you? Philip, hi. No, hell no. Some of you, hey, Marshall, how are you doing, my dear? Damian Henry, how are you? Happy Monday to you, my love. It's good to have you here with us. And thank you for that reminder. International Lighting, yes, is actually in Bodden Town. Hey, Donnie, how you doing, my love? Bodden Town, just before Chester's, Chester's. It's in the plaza where Water Boys are. Yeah, and after you pass A.L. Thompson's now, it used to be Cox. It's on the land side. It's on the main. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Okay. Yes. Yeah, Cameron. Yes. We have posted your condolences. Thank you. Yes. And so Marshall, yes. Everyone here is sharing their condolences with the family of Miss Elrita. Hello, Connie Bonnie. How are you? Yes. Rest in peace. I know Miss Elrita is well known. Let me tell you, this woman, she is well known. And, it says a lot. She may not have been in your face, all about and being the loudest person, but it speaks a lot when you're so well known. And then there's so much respect shown for you. So yes, it proves a lot. The dash matters. From birth to that sunset, the dash matters. Good evening to you, Miss Debbie, as well. Happy to have you with us. Miss Lucille there in the United Kingdom. It is a pleasure to have you, and you're sharing your condolences as well to the family and friends. Rest in peace from all of us. Yes, over there in the UK as well. So, her spirit and recipes will live on. Yes, Cameron. These are the moments where Sandra do that show about Cayman voices, and there are just certain dishes and stuff that you're hungry for the taste that only some of our locals can cook and make it taste like, oh gosh, this takes me back to my childhood. And Miss Elrita was one of those that could do that with certain dishes, with pretty much anything that she cooked. And that really resonate with Caymanian cooking. And that, Cameron, you're quite right. Let's hope they captured her recipes. And we just hope that they captured her recipes and that the kids can continue this tradition. But it's something when our seniors cook and they bring that out. And in their, be it baking or their turtle meat or their Cayman style beef, it is just something about their hand. I don't know if it's the pot. I don't know if it's the love. I don't know what it is, but it's quite interesting how this will actually play out. Yeah. So there we have it. What have you done this weekend? I want to say I had a busy weekend. 936-8255 for those of you who want to join in on the conversation. Big shout out as well to all of the persons who approached me some way, somehow or the other this weekend. Happy to meet all of you, and thank you for all of your feedback that was received from, I can't say there was any place that I didn't go that I didn't just get a nudge or a wave or just full-blown conversations giving me feedback on this space. And you don't understand how valuable that is. Yes, I ventured out even. I took in Rub-a-Dub. I went to Rub-a-Dub, rubbing out, my rubbing my knee. Oh God, rubbing my knee. But I had fun. And even at Rub-a-Dub, some of you interacted with me, despite us there enjoying the festive spirit there. And I must say, I enjoyed time with family, seeing a lot of people for the holidays and just enjoying life. Like I tell you now, I'm paying for it right now. My knee, oh, them knees. But you know what? Age is just a number. But yeah, your feedback means so much to me. And thank you for all the subscriptions. We were getting live subscriptions as well as we went along subscribing. And we appreciate you here very, very much. Yes. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? I know you're busy out there. If I can only get out instead of late night. But yeah, I was called, Miss Lucy was saying she was calling that Miss Elrita a few names ago. Oh, yes. Denver Douglas also shares, yeah, after hours weekend food. You know, you were out there. Yes, 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 Cameron. When our seniors say, go grab my pot on a better grab a pen and pad some same time. That's true. That's true. I'm really hoping that they capture it though, Cameron. Honestly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Gonna leave me alone. Oh, yes, I went to Rubber Dub and I had a blast. I just waiting for a nice little wet fat now. Good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Look, you gotta live. You gotta live. There's nothing wrong with going out and just living life. There's no shame in my game when it comes out to going partying with a good bunch of friends. Yeah, I went to Rub a Dub. And kudos to the organizers. I love the cups. I'll show you off the cups tomorrow. Those cups are nice. Yeah, I really must say I like the cups. Miss Dorothy, good evening to you as well. Marshall, I gotta tell you this, right? I ain't going down without a fight. As much pain as I was in yesterday, it was worth it. No pain, no gain. But I enjoyed myself. That's all that matters. And it was good to just get out and literally let my hair down and just engage. I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans, right? And we just have a good time. That's all that really matters. Now, I know what's in big circulation and another big topic that I'm seeing all on social media and in the news. I was out and about on Saturday afternoon. You heard about the jewelry store robbery, right? And I mean, the videos that are in circulation is just heart-wrenching. It almost looks like these guys were just doing casual shopping. And it's like everybody froze in the store. And, it speaks a lot to where this whole mask wearing, and this is why I'm going into that just a little bit. And it's almost like this time of the year, it's going crazy. Remember that year we had a Boxing Day robbery, again, similar to what went down on Saturday. And I got word that there is a private member's motion that is being filed as well in regards to this mask wearing. And I'm going to put it up here. Give me a minute. There's a private member's motion that is being, here we go, that is being filed now asking for this national public safety for mask wearing. And we got it here. We're going to share it with you. It was filed by the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, MP for Deputy Leader of the Opposition. And it just segues into, leave me alone, Cameron. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, surprise you didn't, I, Cameron? Hold on here. Let me get back to this. There we go. There's a private member's motion that was filed by the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Kenneth Bryan, and it reads, you can zoom in, private member's motion number 425 to 26, National Public Safety for Mask Wearing. Whereas the Cayman Islands has experienced a concerning surge in armed robberies involving perpetrators who utilize a total mask-wearing culture to conceal their entire head and facial structure, creating a climate of fear across all districts and 3 islands. And whereas during the Finance Committee on November 18th, 2025, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kurt Walton, confirmed that these extensive coverings weaken the national surveillance and facial recognition technology and policing strategy. And whereas it is necessary to distinguish between criminal concealment and legitimate medical or occupational necessity, be it therefore resolved that the Honorable Parliament calls upon the government to introduce amendments to all relevant legislation to restrict: 1, restrict public masking, prohibit the use of non-medical masks and total head coverings in all public spaces, neighborhoods, and commercial establishments nationwide. 2, define medical exemption. Establish clear provisions for individuals with documented medical disabilities or health conditions requiring a standard or visibility that allows for health protection without facilitating total anonymity. 3, preserve occupational PPE. Maintain exemption for workers, which is gardeners, constructions, etc., strictly within the parameters of their job sites. 4, urgency of action. Treat this as a matter of national importance and deliver these changes by the next meeting of Parliament or before. Moved by Honorable Kenneth V. Bryan, JP MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, elected member for Georgetown Central, and seconded by Honorable Joseph X. Hugh, MP, Leader of the Opposition, elected member for Georgetown North, received in the office of the clerk this 15th day of December 2025. So there you have it. And that is what they are calling for in that, because this is something that, and I have the actual video clipping as well. Let me remove this. So you'll remember, yes, on or around in Finance Committee, where they were looking budget or financing for the police. And the member of Parliament for Georgetown Central did question. And it was weird because this was before this incident. But let me make you be the judge of this. It was like he preempted something like this was going to happen again. But I want you to listen to the response given. And here we are, Saturday, full bloom, what happened. 1 second. Let me add this to the stage.
Voice. I want to move on to mask wearing. It's a problem that has been brought to my attention by many people in our community, from businesses to neighborhoods. Ever since COVID, it's become a common practice for people to have all kinds of different mask wearing options. And normally what you're starting to see a lot of now is persons who are wearing these coverings over their head, and the only thing you see is their eyes. And it's become acceptable due to coverings of face throughout the COVID component. And normally before COVID, it was only done for job sites. You would see that at construction sites, people are outside in the sun for a long time. But now people are wearing them everywhere. This morning even, dropping my daughters to school, I saw somebody riding a bike, I mean literally covered from head to toe. Gloves, arms, eyes, shades over it. I didn't see one speck of skin. Now, every person has a right to protect it, but are you concerned in any capacity? Has anything been brought to your concern of the safety risk that poses? And the reason I say that is, for example, it becomes such a norm. A person crosses a jewelry store. Normally, in normal circumstances, you would almost get ready to, something isn't right. But now it's become the norm. You don't know if it's a customer or a thief. And my question is based on the research that I've done. I was proposing bringing a motion, so I want your input. Some jurisdictions, you cannot walk in public that covered for safety reasons. Are you concerned in any capacity about the growing trend of coverage amongst persons?
Commissioner. Through you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, it's become more noticeable, and you're right, we've seen that since COVID. Some people say that for various reasons they use it. Primarily, we see it in the construction industry, or certainly across the service industry, whether you're into landscaping and the like. And others say they use it, as your example, of riding a motorbike for protection from debris going to their face and the like. What I would say on the evidence of it, we have seen one or two cases, a few cases where we've had robberies where the description of clothing often matched that of some sort of high-vis, looks like a construction type of a shirt. So we have had a few of those instances. But broadly speaking, we haven't seen overall where the issue around masks is a concern as far as robberies. But it does raise a concern for us because we don't know who these individuals are. And we obviously have to comply with stop and search procedures under the Police Act and what that looks like as far as reasonable grounds. And because of course you can only imagine what the fallout from that if we're just stopping everyone in the street who's wearing a mask, and the reason, well, why are you stopping me, officer? So there's a issue there as far as legality. So, of course, we have to conform to the law. But I think overall, we haven't seen in a wide scale issue as far as being used to, I suppose, create panic or in society.
Thank you so much. I recognize, through you, Mr. Chairman, I recognize the balance that you have to strike to persons' freedoms and rights and personal choices and that of safety of the community. But I'll just share this with you. And those who are listening, the people we represent, the Cayman Islands as a whole, if you're concerned about this, say something to your MPs, because what I'm finding is there's a silent worry and not only they feel comfortable saying things to people that they know, their MPs, their church pastors, or what have I don't feel too comfortable. I don't know who that is driving through my neighborhood or who walking through. And so there's a silent undercurrent of concern. Now, that concern is something we have to balance as legislators. And if it's not a security issue, which you just said, not majorly, then there's nothing we can do. But if people feel uncomfortable about this, the only way we as legislators are going to do anything about it is for you to voice it to us in a magnitude large enough for us to take action. Because now, with your response of it not being a security matter, I will not be proposing a motion again, because I have to respect people's right for privacy. If there was a security risk coming from you and you were worried, but I was definitely going to propose that no mask should be wear unless you're on the profession upon which you work. Like if you're at work for gardening and you are now no longer working, you shouldn't be wearing it. Why are you still wearing it? What's the purpose, right? So anyway, I'll leave that alone. That was a little bit for the public. I want to from your own voice. And the only thing
and now you have it. Now it's amazing how he actually said those. You see, hindsight is 2020. And based at that time, I'm sure the commissioner of police was saying that, there wasn't any need for it at that time to create any panic. And I'm paraphrasing here. I can't quote. You heard the video yourself. We can actually go back there for his reasoning. And fair. But why are we seeming a little bit reactive than proactive? And, at the end of the day, Kenneth and MP Brian withdrew or had this whole idea now of the same motion now that he's filed today. He decided, based on the feedback given by the commissioner of police, to withdraw it at that time. Now, can you imagine if that was indeed one of the things that had remained as an item on the agenda? Maybe it would have already been let's say unanimously passed on the floor of Parliament for public or for the government to consider, and then that would be worked on at the end of the day. But it's interesting how this whole thing has played out just on Saturday, and look at that. So 936-8255, 345-936-8255 is the number to call to weigh in on this. I'm seeing your comments. Connie is saying, ban it and include a hefty fine if seen wearing it in public. Well, that is what it's calling for, you see, based on the details of the private member's motion. That is actually the case. Restart, because I'm not having, is everybody hearing me fine? Is everyone hearing me fine? Please give me a thumbs up if I'm coming across fine. Yeah, so at the end of the day, Cameron, medical mask is different from, yes, you're quite right. And I'm quite sure with the guidance that they have from their legal counsel, they will know how to, here we go again. We will know how far is a piece of string. But what transpired with these construction wear full mask, we don't want to take away from the actual fact. One thing, if you have a mask or a patch or something like that, because you're immunocompromised, that's totally different. What the elected member of Parliament is talking about is something for true that just really got out of hand after COVID. It was one thing, we were only wearing a mask or a facial shield because some people are claustrophobic. What this has descended to, it is just a different low. And really, it has become almost a norm that you don't know if it is a construction person or you're coming into exactly rob a place, because we have climatized, we have adapted to seeing people even riding on their bicycles going to work fully masked. I can understand with bugs and stuff in your face, but with the request of this private member's motion, it should only be confined to your job site. And if it is a case where you're riding a bicycle, then a shield, but you shouldn't be a case where you really can't see your face. Good evening, caller. You're live. What's on your mind?
Hi, Sabrina. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Carrie from the Bluff. Anyways, I just want to chime in on that video with Kenneth and the fact that he withdrew that motion after speaking with the Commissioner of Police. Now, my concern is this. I'm not being a devil's advocate in any way. I'm just raising the fact that the police is always begging the people out here to assist them, to give them information, to give them feedback. And here we have a community feeding back through their MP, and they're completely squashed. They come into the government saying through their MP that they have concerns about these masked up people all day long. And I do have concerns as well, because you don't know who's going to do what. And like you just read, someone said they should penalize them for wearing them outside of their work times. And I think that's true too. Yeah.
It's a part of the
Furthermore,
private member's motion for government to consider. It's a part of the private member's motion.
So they're going to consider it?
No, the motion has just been filed today. We don't know when the House is
Okay,
now
so-
finished. So we're hoping that it's a private member's motion that will be considered, because it was a private member's motion being filed by a member of the opposition. The government only has to consider it. They don't have to necessarily take it forward. But I think this is one of those cases on a premise of national security and of national importance that this one should be unanimous. It shouldn't, this should be a no-brainer, my humble opinion.
Exactly. I mean, we're not in COVID anymore. And furthermore, you were wearing a masks that were designed for the fact that you had to wear a mask for this COVID. Only the people made them decorative stuff. And you have the gardeners out there, you have construction workers out there. They're going to finish on the site at a certain time of the day. They can't. What about removing that stuff? If you're on a motorcycle on the roadway and the reason you're given is that you're afraid of stuff getting in your face, don't you supposed to wear a helmet and some sort of protection over your eyes and face if you want that kind of thing? That is your responsibility, but not a masked up stuff. That should be where we can't identify. You should be removed. There are countries right now that are banning the use of burqas, that you can't wear them in any public spaces in their countries. And this isn't any different from that. This is telling you you don't have to wear all this head tie up, that you just see your eyes peek, the slant of your eyes is showing, nothing else. And I've seen it up here, even in the BRAC. And it's not a good feeling. It's like you don't trust the individual. And you wouldn't want to trust the individual when you see them in public with you like that, because that's not being a how should I put it? That's not making you feel safe in your community. And I agreed with Kenneth. He should have proceeded with it. He shouldn't have withdrew it. And for the Commissioner of Police, and that's where I'm not too happy about what his response was, that they didn't see it as a problem. Well, but you identify nobody now anyhow. And if we try to get this ban so that they have to remove all this face covering, maybe you'll get to identify some of these people. And if you were unable to identify them, you needed the public opinion on these individuals, well, you just lost faith in the public when you came out and said that. That'll make me feel safe now.
Well, that is the case, what we're saying right now. Hindsight is 2020. And of course, no one would have expected the MP for Georgetown Central saying that he actually withdrew it based on the feedback, because when you get those kind of responses from the commissioner of police, I'm quite sure it would be fact-based, database, that it wouldn't have caused any alarm. But then all of a sudden,
Really?
we have had a spat of these things, but it didn't take away from the risks. Because we see people driving with only their eyes being exposed. Maybe they're prepared for work and it saves time with the check-in. I'm being devil's advocate. But that is not the case where you can actually see them. Now that this has happened, there is a call with this private member's motion for once and for all to deal with this subject matter. That you should not be wearing full face mask like that out in public. It's different if you're spray painting, if you're exposed to fumes whilst you're doing a particular job. We can understand those persons that are working in gardeners in your yards. That's another thing. Thank God my gardeners, I can see who they are because it's small. But you have these big companies that they will send persons to do your yards, and I've seen them. And you can't identify any of them. And especially if it's one that you don't have the same persons all the time coming because you're using a big company. Whenever they get new staff or whatever, you can't identify some of them, period. You just don't know what they look like. And they're there cleaning your yards. You can understand the protective because from the elements, the sun, and all that sort of stuff. But it shouldn't be a case where you're totally obscured that you cannot identify who is doing your work in your yard. And it's a fine line, in my humble opinion.
Exactly. And not only that, remember, let me just flip back a few years to 2008, October, when they killed Estella Roberts. Remember, one of those men was a gardener in her yard, and he wasn't masked up at any time. That's how he could be identified as one of the people that was involved. When they identified him as one of the two, it was made known that he was a gardener to frequent her yard to do her yard work.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, if you didn't know that additional information, I'm just saying we're not making the community feel safe out here, Cousin Curdy. I'm sorry, but you need to retract that. You can't tell the people of this country that you, as a commissioner of police, with what data you have, and we know data can be fudged and obscured and erroneously information inputted that gives a different result. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you're not going on that kind of database information and you're going on the community, and you heard the voices of an entire community out there when Kenneth brought it to the house. So I really don't see why he would make those kind of statements. Be welcoming to that. Yes, that would aid us. MP Brian, yes, I mean, he could have even said something to the fact like, even though we don't feel it is a major concern for us, we would still welcome this removal of all facial masks in the community, basic hourly or whatever, but it don't matter, because if you're even during the day, they're robbing people wearing them now too. So base it off of, you can only wear them on your job sites or whatever.
Well,
and then you must remove them when you leave the job site.
Just as a correction, the information that you said in regards to Miss Estella Scott Roberts, the one worked as a landscaper, but not in her yard. That was clarified. Okay, well,
it was?
Yeah,
okay,
that's what was being clarified. All right, I stand to be corrected. I don't know the details, but I was being, So we want to try, but we get the essence of what you're saying.
In one of the local media, and what I heard in court. So
okay,
I'm just saying. I mean, maybe so. Maybe eventually in their appeal, that was part of the appeal or something. I don't know.
Well,
I never read their appeal.
The bottom line is, this is a matter of concern. It is a matter of national security. We are seeing where this private member's motion has now been filed, and we're hoping that the government now takes this serious. And of course, whenever the next sitting of Parliament is, I guess you will know whether or not it'll be on the agenda. Until such time, we're hoping that the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service will, which we have seen them have done, ramped up their surveillances and all that sort of stuff, but it doesn't leave a good feeling at all. It does not.
It sure don't. And, I know that many out there in the community are feeling their voices was just thrown out the window, and you don't want to make a community of people feeling that way, that they're input into a situation like that. They want to be heard, and it's almost as if we're not giving our people the opportunity to be heard. I mean, that's wholesomeness that's come to you. People feeling, driving through their neighborhood all masked up, walking through, riding through. They don't know who these people are because they can't see their faces. And we know some of the new cameras that were installed are now basing off of facial recognition. Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll all be tied in.
You from your face.
Yep, it'll all be tied in.
It'll all be tied in, yes. And people want to be able to get clarity with stuff. We no longer not want clarity. We don't want a bunch of promises that come with no provisions. They're not fair to us.
Well,
Anyway,
it's only time.
Sabrina,
Thank you. Leave us there.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a good one.
Likewise. Sure. There we have it. Aliano says, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it this much. If it walks like a duck, mask up, and obviously moving in a certain way, should be subject to full scrutiny of the law. Yes. And, at the end of the day, it does leave a bad feeling in your stomach when you're actually in a place and you see some of them come in with these masks. It has been the actual case. And how can it's not stereotyping. It's just not normal. We're not accustomed to that. And it does have a sense of fear. It puts a sense of fear in you because of what's next. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening. The incident that took place on Saturday is absolutely horrific, and it's an indication of where our country is now and perhaps going. However, in relation to a law passing regarding the covering of face with balaclavas or ski masks or whatever it is.
That's the private member's motion that was filed today. Parliament has ended for this year. Mm-hmm.
Right. But because this was also addressed specifically by the police commissioner on, I think it was Sandra's show last week where that came up. And he was pointing out that there's actually nothing in the law specifically that you can't just go and arrest someone like that is not a criminal act. But of course, it's the matters surrounding the issue. 3:00 in the morning, walking around with facial covering, well then that becomes suspicious. So we have all these gardeners, we have construction workers. We know Cayman's heat and sun is intolerable, especially during the summer months. But we even have Lexi and bento drivers up and down.
Correct. Long sleeves and the whole,
well.
yes. Yeah, with masks.
So my thing is this, right? If we go and we make this a law, which on the surface sounds extremely justifiable. Take off your face covering because we can't identify you and you may be up to no good. How many of those people are actually engaging in criminal activity? And the ones who are actually engaging in criminal activity are not going to walk down the street with their face covering. They're going to put on their face covering before they bust the corner to go into a store or whatever business to hide their identity. So my question becomes, how does enacting a law such as this really prohibit the crime from taking place and hiding your identity, which is what we're going after, right?
It's
really
a deterrence.
It's what we're
it's
going
a deterrence.
after. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we see it on TV all the time. They sit in the car. I mean, they drive the vehicle to the location of where they want to commit the criminal act, not with the face covering on. Right before they go to get out of the car to commit the act is when they put it on. So that's just me throwing that out there that on the surface, it sounds great, but it can't really accomplish because the criminal is going to not care that putting on a face covering is against the law. They don't care that robbery is against the law either. So yeah, that's what I wanted to just throw out.
But thank you for that. But I'll inject this. The mere fact the caller said, the commissioner of police said that the law didn't have certain things embedded in there. The mere fact that this private member's motion is now being filed to address it as a matter of national security now would be perfect person. Now would be the perfect time to give the necessary legislation the teeth that it needs that would actually help in to curtail this. Good evening, caller. Welcome. Perfect timing.
Hi. Hi, Sandra. Hey, Sandra. Sorry. Sabrina, my apologies.
Good evening,
Oh,
MP
I'm
Brian. How are you?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. I'm actually listening to your show with my headphones on at the supermarket. So I'm trying to listen to all your callers, and I must say that last caller was quite intriguing and challenging to the point of making us think past just our emotions, which is exactly what I want to hear. I like when people think outside the box. But to say that she has a point, what exactly are we trying to accomplish? And I dare say that we are trying to accomplish the catching the criminals as much as we possibly can. Now, here's what I would say to some of the things she said. Like, okay, a criminal will obviously put his mask or her mask on right before a crime. But when resolving crimes, there's evidence you look at before the crime and after the crime. So in the case of somebody robbing a place, the police will probably be looking at surveillance information for a whole hour before. Maybe the criminal was walking the area before they actually made the action. Or as soon as they got back to the car, they took it off. But if we're allowing it to be optional, like 24 hours a day, all the time in the public domain, they will never have to put it back on. And the other part, outside of the evidential component, is the reaction time to things that we see are dangerous coming. So when it becomes a cultural norm for people wearing masks, say 10 years ago, if somebody was walking across your shop or in your neighborhood with a mask, you would be on high alert, ready to react, ready to do the lock on the door at the jewelry store, or lock your doors, or don't open the door to somebody who looks like a Bento driver, who actually just pretends to be a Bento driver but coming to rob your house at home. Now, because we have allowed it to be normal, we put down our guards. And I think when your guard is down is when criminals can take more advantage. And not only that, but there's an uneasiness. So even at the very least, it's not the most important thing in the world, but it's very important, which is the feeling of comfort. Because just you hear people talk about it, they say they feel so uncomfortable. I don't know. Is this a person bad or is this a person good? Now, the caller was right to say that, probably 90% of these people wouldn't do anything at all. So if that is the case, and we at least get by the comfort of feeling comfortable in our neighborhoods, in our businesses, that means a lot as well. And another factor is, yes, there is justified reasons for wearing covering. And in most cases, I heard people say, well, but when they're riding on a bike, what were they doing riding on a bike 10 years ago? They had a helmet with a plastic shield on it. What were they doing when they were doing gardening before? They used to wear wide hats. So, it's not like you don't have another option. And we're trying to balance the comfort of the public's feeling of safety and the evidential opportunity for police in the event that it does become a crime. And I think that's where we are trying to get to. And unfortunately for us, it has not become too much of a problem yet. And that's why you heard me respond to the police commissioner and say, okay, at first, which was November 18th, is when you played that video when we were in the finance committee. And I ended up filing the motion that I intended to file this morning, because I was like, you know what? Okay, the police commissioner had said that, but let's the society decide that after discussion. So that's why I filed it this morning. The truth is, we're not seeing the full brunt of this yet. I've seen in my research planning for the motion, other jurisdictions having severe problems with it. And we're trying to nip it in the bud before it becomes too much of a problem. Because I do understand that some people go, well, listen, I do this work, or, I don't want to get sunburned and so forth. But there is times and places for everything. What I'm trying to say is there's people who are wearing it for no God-given reason. If you're going to a quick supermarket to buy some perfume for Christmas, why are you masked up? Like, seriously. So in my mind, I think that the comfort of the public, the opportunity to protect ourselves is worth that minor discomfort for you when you have other provisions to justify to protect yourself. So I just thought I would tell you that.
No, I appreciate.
I think Kerry may have misunderstood that I withdrew it.
Then
based on her call, and yeah, but that was November 18th when I intended to file a motion, but I didn't file it because of the commissioner's comments, which he's right to say that there's a balance that needs to be struck. And I think the last caller also highlighted the fact that the commissioner responded to the current structure of they don't have the ability to just walk up to somebody and say, let them, take off your mask. And I'm saying that they should, particularly outside of certain circumstances.
Right.
And most innocent people will be like, listen, I understand you're doing this because you're doing it to protect me as well.
Correct.
But innocent people wouldn't have an issue with it. At least that's my thinking. But I'm happy that people are calling in, challenging the thought process, because by all means, nothing is perfect. And we have to balance that. Because some people love it, and some people go, hold on. I am starting to hear people talk about Muslims and their right to some religions covering the whole face.
Right.
Because
I see Denmark.
Have to be considered.
Denmark, a burqa for religious purposes or cultural purposes is different from what you are actually saying here now in your motion. And someone is asked, there was a question that asked, hi, Sabrina, can you take a few minutes to explain how will this motion work or go in effect now that Parliament has ended for this year? Do you have the time to explain that in layman's terms, what's next, or whether or not it would even be a case for this to go in effect?
That question was to me? Or were you?
Yeah, I mean, you filed a motion, and you can, this is your motion, so I'm giving you the opportunity. Otherwise, I can walk them through. But if you want, you can address it.
Well, just quickly, so the motion has been filed this morning, and at this point, it will not be heard until the government calls Parliament again. Now, I can't tell you when that's going to be. I can only speculate that it's going to be hopefully in January, but it could be in February, for all I know. I mean, to be honest with you, and Sabrina, you're going to find this one funny. I had intentions of actually calling an urgent meeting, but the old standing orders used to say, if you have at least 7 members of Parliament agreeing on a national emergency matter, you can call an urgent sitting at the House. But I think that this motion can be debated in a half a day and done with. I don't think it's going to be that controversial. I think most members of Parliament would agree with me. So it could be done within a few minutes, or at least within 2 hours. So I was intending to call for an urgent meeting with only 7 members. But unfortunately, remember we passed the new set of standing orders, where we changed that to 10 members.
There we go.
So obviously
blocked yourself right there.
Which block ourselves. But interestingly enough, I think we made a big boo-boo on that one. Not only because I'm in opposition, but because of the fact is that if you have a national emergency that you think needs to go to Parliament, the chances of getting a government member to support the opposition is unheard of. And to think that we would need to get a majority of Parliament, which is 10 out of 19, to call for an urgent sitting at the House, it very seldom that will ever happen. By then, the government is going to fall in on their own. And I did some research just early this morning after yesterday, when I realized that provision wasn't available to me anymore on other Commonwealth jurisdictions. Nowhere can I find that you need to have majority of the members of Parliament in order to call for a national emergency meeting.
Right.
And sadly, I think we might have rushed those standing orders the last time we were there, because we had 3 different groups at that point. So the government, the members like yourself who left, and the PPM. But everybody thought there was
it was in the best interest based on that time. Yeah.
All right. But now that I look back at it, I said, okay, I think 7 was a good number, or at least 1/3, because in the UK Parliament, you only need 40 members to agree to a petition to call for a national emergency meetings.
Well, we have a
So-
Robert Ebanks that just posted a comment saying a motion this important should call to the House. There should be a call to the House tonight, as it is national security issue, as it is a national security issue. So you got people agreeing that this is one of national importance, understanding the proliferation and the escalation of crimes that we're seeing and this whole blocking of the face. So there you have it. Hello, caller. I think he's just gotten a call. So Robert, thank you for your feedback there. But in regards to the question about what happens is that, okay, fine, even if there's an emergency sitting of the House to actually say whether or not the government will be in favor of considering this because it is of national importance. It has to, everybody can say yay unanimously. Caller? Okay. Oh, you're still there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just breaking
So-
it down because you had a Robert Ebanks who said it is important. A motion this important should be called to the House tonight, as it is a national security issue. And I was saying, even if a emergency meeting is called because of this motion being of national importance, it's the government saying, yes, we will consider it. But the actual law to be put in place now, you would have to, that will take some time. Do you feel that there would be a public consultation to 28 day, the normal circumstances, or this would be one that would just, because of national importance, just should have no problem being debated on the floor of Parliament? What's your take there?
Well, in all national important emergency meetings, you're automatically waived from the 20-day public consultation perspective. And not only that, this part is not a bill at this moment. So
This is
it's
just a motion.
And yeah, so you wouldn't need that 28-day consultation period. But you are right to say that even if the motion is passed, say hypothetically speaking, we met tonight and it was passed, the drafters still have to go off and look at the relevant legislation that may be affected and make the necessary drafting to execute the policy laid out in the motion. Now, I am of the view that if it's a priority for the government, that you put it, this is an urgent matter, just like how they do for financial services, because sometimes you hear, oh, we need to do an emergency change in the law because the international bodies are putting pressure on us to change this section of the law. And then within 3 days, boom, they got it done. I mean, so we know that you've had cases where you can get it done quick enough. If you had martial law, I hate to use that word. That's probably not.
But we see what you're trying to.
Correct. So you have times where you can use the provision of national importance and call those persons in who are paid well to do this and get them in the drafting room and say, scan all legislation, in fact, the Public Health Act, the Penal Code, public gathering legislation, whatever.
Human rights, every legislation that would be, right to arrest and so that you wouldn't be infringing on people's rights.
Correct. And you review that and you come up and you propose something to the cabinet meets and say, okay, we're comfortable with that, comfortable with that. And then you bring it back to Parliament and you pass, right? So it's not that it's not doable, is what I'm saying. It's a matter of whether it's a priority. Now, like the first caller said, I don't think that, this is going to stop the robbers right away. So I would like to see it happen right away, but I can totally understand it's Christmas. Members of Parliament are out in their constituencies and so forth. So at the very least, I expect the government to try to have a meeting early January, probably within the first 7 to 10 days to address this, hopefully within support, and then be able to say, listen, we're going to put this as an urgent matter to be able to come back within a very short period of time. But again, the numbers are in favor of the government, and it's for the government to decide that. I'm only at the mercy of the Parliament rules, and I will stand for my people. But like as the saying goes, the government will have their way, and the opposition will have their say. So I'm having my say now, but it's the government to take the action.
Okay, well said. Let's see what happens. But we do have the good feedback here being received about the importance of this. And I'm hoping that for Robert, that we were able to explain the steps in order for this to become law.
Thank you.
All right.
Sabrina.
Thank
I
you.
continue listening to the show. I appreciate you talking about it.
Appreciate it. Take care. There you have it. 345-936-8255. The lines are open. And just for the record, that the other caller that was also that says gave her opinion, she actually agrees with Kenneth points as well. So it is just, this is why we love to hear all sides. And I'm happy that the member of Parliament Central actually stated all points have to actually be respected and viewed. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Sabrina, and good evening to your listeners. I can say that, you see, trust the Honorable Kenneth Bryan to bring up something that is necessary, which people will agree with, sometimes controversial, and being ready to pursue it and discuss it, like the issue of hoodies. The issue of hoodies is very controversial, and all I can do really is not to say whether it is. I just want to discuss the pros and cons of it. It is something that has been considered in other parts of the world. It is a concern. People have used hoodies to hide their identity and commit crimes, and then you've got your CCTV, and CCTV doesn't help you. Why? Because you can't see somebody's face. So it is certainly a concern which needs to be addressed. But I thought one of the things that came to mind when this was being discussed early today has to do with, there was a case which went to the Caribbean Court of Justice. It was one of those cases where some people were found cross-dressing. This is in Guyana. Men dressed like women. They are in a public place. And the police used some old colonial legislation which prevents you from dressing like a woman or a woman as a man. They arrested them and they were convicted. And two of them appealed the case all the way to the Caribbean Court of Justice. And what arose there was that actually the way somebody dresses, you can't regulate that. If they dress like a woman, but they are a man, that violates their fundamental human rights. That's what the Caribbean Court of Justice held. Now, I know that Cayman is not a member of the Caribbean Court of Justice, but the views of that court are very, very important. In fact, the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice is currently, Mr. Adrian Saunders, is currently a member of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission in Cayman. So it's not something we can totally divorce ourselves from. So, in other words, they read that provision in the Constitution which says that you've got freedom of expression.
Right.
They read it to mean not just that it gives you the right to talk what you want, but also to express yourself in a way which is in accordance with the gender as you see yourself. So they saw freedom of expression as also freedom to wear what you want.
Whatever you identify as at that moment. Because I could identify as a him. But that'll be hard to pull off. But you get what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. You could. In fact, they call, like in the gender area in particular, they call it gender expression, because previously, you see, there was this recognition of men and women being equal and all that and so on. But there's now this little subcategory where they now say you are entitled to your gender expression. And what that means is that if you are like transgender, you are physically a man, but you identify a little more like a woman, you can dress like a woman, and they can't come out there and tell you, hey, you can't dress like this because you are a man. Okay, because that's your right to gender expression, which is one of the things which has emerged in these latter years as they, try to develop human rights. So the reason I bring that up is because it is an issue that will arise in relation to hoodies. If somebody is arrested, they could go and make a human rights challenge and say, what? You are telling me I can't dress the way I want, wherever I want, and that is likely to be an issue. However, There are some places in the States, I've researched this just a little bit, where they've said, well, they can limit the dressing, the wearing of hoodies and similar things if it appears that the intention is to hide somebody's identity. Now, again,
but that would have to be proven, right? That would have to be proven.
Exactly. That will have to be proven. So how do you prove that they were trying to hide their identity? You know, okay, if they are sort of crouched a little bit and they are wearing a hoodie and sort of like trying to get to the back of a van or a store and so on, yeah, then you might say, okay, you were wearing it to hide your identity. But if you are just walking down the street, how can you say I'm trying to hide my identity? So it is something which will have to be very, very carefully.
Caller.
Mm-hmm.
Caller.
Mm-hmm.
The culture, I hear what you're saying with legislation.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying with human rights. We live in the tropics. At the end of the day, this is not our culture. I, of all persons, understand if you have to wear a mask because you're immunocompromised, if you're in a job where you're exposed to fumes and all that sort of stuff. But tell me, in August, in June, unless I have low blood count and I'm shivering, or I'm at that age where I don't even question the heat anymore because it could be a hot flash, or I could get cold. But tell me now on a normal day, why in 96 degrees, sometimes a field temp of 101, in a hoodie, in a sweats, like, tell me now, in the particular case this weekend, not saying that we're going to, I get everything that you're saying, but this is not who we are. How do you balance all of that with now what has transpired with this burglary, this robbery, not a burglary, with the robbery? Where would human rights come into that? If it was one thing that they didn't buzz them in because they looked a certain way, then you would hear they're stereotyping me. What? I'm not good enough to shop in your store? Let's say it had went off that they were suspicious from the beginning and they weren't buzzed in. That could be in breach of human rights too. So where is the balance? But look at what happened. Devil's advocate.
Yes, and that's exactly why I think I'm not even quite sure that I haven't seen the motion. I tried to search for it. Maybe it hasn't been posted on the website.
Motion?
I don't know.
The motion?
Yeah.
The private members? I can send it to you. I just posted it.
Oh, you just posted it? Okay.
I was reading it.
In one of my groups, it came up, and I was trying to trace which group I got it in, but my Cayman groups, there are so many, so I couldn't trace it back.
There it is.
Okay.
I just sent it to you in image.
Okay. Now, so all I can say about it really is that there's need to look at it carefully. There could be some human rights issues involved. There will be some people, for example, who might want some exceptions for religious reasons. There are people who might want exceptions for health reasons. Okay, it's hot, but maybe they used to have some tattoos on their faces. They were all removed. Now they've got this skin which is very weak on their face. I remember in the BVI when I was writing legislation relating to tinted windows. They were going to. They made them illegal to have tinted windows beyond a certain kind of darkness. And now the way we defined it in the law, we defined a number of light transmission which should be allowed for it to be legal. But even when we did that, there was a provision to allow for exceptions for health reasons, for religious, not religious reasons, but for health reasons, for example. So with the hoodie issue, health reasons will have to come in. Like, for example, during Halloween, don't kids move from house to house wearing things that look like hoodies or so on? So, like, you would want to have those kinds of, things that you can do. So, I mean, it is an important thing. It has to be looked at. I'm just trying to open it here now. It has to be looked at. And let's see what it says here. Okay, therefore resolved, restrict public masking, prohibiting the use of non-medical masks, and total, yeah, that's very nice. They've already said non-medical. And total head coverings in all public places, neighborhoods, and so on. Head coverings, what are head coverings? That will have to be defined. Can I wear a cap, wear a hijab, or this and that? Define medical exemptions, okay. Clear to be documented for medical purposes, okay. And also for occupational purposes, national importance. And I mean, it has got actually more detail than I would have expected, because already it is pinpointing that there will be need for some exceptions regarding this. And then at the end of the day, when you restrict it, are you going to say it's a criminal offense if you wear one? Okay. In other words, even if they don't know that you are about to commit an offense, will you make it a criminal offense just to wear a hoodie which doesn't come within one of these exceptions? That's an important part that has to be looked at. Now, earlier on, you also spoke about issues of reasonable suspicion, because you see, this goes together with these issues of, are you, in addition to wearing a hoodie, are you behaving in a suspicious manner? Okay. Yeah. So that if you are behaving in a suspicious manner, you look like you are up to no good. A police officer can take into account that you are wearing a hoodie and how you are wearing it together with your other behavior. And if they are able, for example, to say it looks like you wanted to get to you were peeking into cars or something like that, and so forth.
Right.
That is something that might be cause for them at least to question you. I'm not even quite sure that the mere fact that you are wearing a hoodie and you are peeking into a car, that necessarily that is a criminal offense. I'm not quite sure.
Wow.
But all I can say is that, in the UK, way back when I was there for a few months, way back in '79, they were trying to introduce an offense, and I think they eventually did, an offense called being reasonably about to commit a felony.
Being reasonably.
In other words, reasonably suspected to be about to commit a felony. And they were saying that the problems they had was that you would look at somebody who is in a neighborhood, and they might be walking down the street, but they are walking kind of slowly. Maybe they are wearing a hoodie. And then they walk back again. It looks like they are trying to do something, but you do not know what they want to do. Now, you can't address them for attempt, because they haven't attempted to do anything. To attempt, they are just behaving in a way which looks like they are up to no good. And it was a very controversial piece of legislation. I even forget whether they passed it or not. But this is an important thing. Let it be looked at. It looks like the Honorable Kenneth Bryan has done quite a bit already in terms of research. But we have to be careful that you don't want to prohibit people from wearing what they want. Okay, because that can be very, 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 very tricky. But let's see what happens. All I can do is urge caution and further research.
What about the infamous line, the spirit and intent is to, whether or not you feel it's going to prevent or inhibit, slow down some of the crimes? At the end of the day, I think the big takeaway is, if you are going to Kirk Freeport or a jewelry store for Christmas shopping and you don't have a medical reason why you have to keep, to me, I don't see the need, without being dictated to, of that type of covering. It's the safety of not only yourself, but it's just the environment. Read the room. Would you go for dinner at a nice restaurant in your construction wear? Think about it.
And no, normally you wouldn't. You would. You see, this is a thing where you might at least give police the power to just stop you and question you, because usually they've got the power to stop you. They've got the power to stop you if they have got a reasonable cause to think you're about to commit a crime.
But didn't the commissioner say even that they could end up in a lawsuit? I got the clipping here that in his contribution at Finance Committee, he says even if they do that, they don't want to end up in a case where they themselves could be. It's a delicate balance. Like Connie says, we're definitely between a rock and a hard place here.
it's a very delicate balance, because it's like if I'm walking on the pavement in a public place and I'm wearing a hoodie, it's a public place. You have no right to come up to me even to ask me, why are you wearing a hoodie? Okay, if I'm in a private space, like on your yard, or maybe you're working, or this and that, or in a shop, you could say, for example, I understand what some countries have allowed to do. They've said, look, if you don't want people wearing a hoodie, you can place a sign outside to say no face coverings allowed, or something like that. Okay. In other words, you are free to do that. And if somebody doesn't comply, since it's private property anyway, you can ask them to leave. But it is, I mean, I'm happy that the commissioner recognizes some of the potential problems, but I think it needs to be looked at and to be very, very, very carefully dealt with. Well, the other thing, by the way, which the Honorable Kenneth Bryan was talking about, he talked about the emergency meeting of Parliament.
Yeah, that if
I think it would
be good
right,
to call.
Actually,
go ahead.
He's right, actually, in the sense that in many parliaments, in my experience as well, you do not have such a high requirement for an emergency meeting. Usually about a third is what is required, because even in parliament, right, I forget about the Cayman Parliament. If you've got at least a third of the members of Parliament, you can continue. That's a quorum, okay? At least a third. Now, in some public bodies, they need half plus one, okay? But Parliament specifically, as I remember it, in a lot of countries, you just need about a third. So even therefore, to call a meeting of Parliament, usually you would need a third. To require, is it 9? Did you say
Right now,
Cayman?
right now it's 10. That was recently changed to 10. Previously 7.
Yeah, 7 would have been more, even in a parliament of 19, 7 would have been more in line with what the other Commonwealth parliaments are doing. But that's something they can address. Last point, Sabrina, can I ask you, have you seen this petition about the protection of generational rights?
I saw it, and I want to go through it to possibly bring it up tomorrow, only because this came up with a recap of the weekend and all the activities. But yeah, I didn't go into great detail. It was shared with me earlier on today. But it breaks down the generational Caymanian and that petition that is going around. Yeah.
Yeah, it tries to say who a generational Caymanian is, and a lot of, I think it's simple but very, very well done. To me, all I can say about that at the moment is that, to me, this shows, probably this is the first sign which shows that a lot of members of the public are not happy with what the government has done on the immigration bill. And the timing of it,
or they're actually happy that they're done it, which is they're trying to solidify doing it. I think right now we're split, to be honest. I think we're very split. We are a divisive community right now, and very divided. And even with the numbers, which is what I was going into today, and I'll bring that back down tomorrow about the surge, the numbers behind the surge. When you look at it has tripled since 1990, because here's the fact. Non-Caymanians now make up 54% of our residents and 55% of the workforce. 55% of the workforce. And based on the ESO data that was shared, sir, Caymanians wasn't broken down by generational Caymanian. They included status holders.
Yeah. If they had broken it down, again, as we've said, if they had broken it down, the Caymanians of right, the people who that petition is trying to protect, people who are defined in that way, they are only about 28%, according to that research from 2 years ago. And my feeling is, I know that Cayman is divided in terms of whether they should have gone ahead with this bill and whether it is enough. And whether it was not enough. I know there's a division regarding that, but regarding preservation of the rights of Caymanians is of right. I think Cayman, at least among the Caymanians, is of right. They seem to be pretty united. And the way I read this petition, is possibly that they are not satisfied with what has been done in that bill,
Mm-hmm.
and they are trying to find out if there's a way in which you can give advantage to the Caymanians as of right. Because you see, this bill is not doing that. This bill is again treating everybody, status holder, Caymanian as of right. It is treating everybody to be the same. In fact, they have even refused to have a different description of the two. And I see this petition, you see, if you go into the details of, we want to preserve those who are Caymanians as of right. And it has talked about, people should have at least one parent or one grandparent and so forth. To me, you see, this is the same thing which was expressed in the white paper which was circulated before the elections. Because you remember there, they said that they wanted a distinction between native Caymanians and status holders.
Yes.
But the powers that be said, oh no, but you see, that is divisive and so on. But that's actual nonsense. I mean, like Daniel Warren has pointed out repeatedly, that concept already exists.
Right.
And in society, people, the way I read Caymanians, they don't like this idea of saying that you, the Caymanian who has at least one parent or one grandparent, like a real Caymanian, you don't want to be lumped in together with somebody who came 15 years ago and has got status today. Now, even if you might say for most purposes of the law, you are the same, except for the right to stand for elections, for example. Even if that might be so, I just find most Caymanians don't like this idea of being just described that you are the same as somebody who came in 15 years ago, even if you yourself, you have you are a Caymanian with real roots in Cayman. Just from an emotive side, the people don't like that. Now, I know that the Honorable Wayne Panton, when he was asked on it was on Sandra's show. This is before the election, I think, or somewhere around there. He was asked, well, why don't we have? I think it was Danny who was saying, well, look, why don't we describe the generational Caymanians, the Caymanians as of right as Caymanian, and then the new ones as new Caymanian? And Mr. Panton said, oh, but you see, that is divisive and so on. And I just don't see how it is divisive. And I think in Cayman, we should stop pretending that, you see, between Caymanians and Jamaicans and all that there's always love between them. I think, look, there has been a long history of association between the two. A lot of Caymanians have got Jamaican roots and so on. But I mean, let's not pretend as if, the two sides are always getting along together. Even if you make a distinction, I do not think that you will be creating a divide that doesn't already exist. There is already a certain amount of love that exists. There's also a certain amount of suspicion and objection that exists. I mean, it's there. It's not totally destructive, but it's there. So don't pretend that you want to preserve that. So you don't want to say that these are new Caymanians or not. Because for me, in the streets today, if I'm walking on...
Sorry, I'm going to just share this.
Road.
I'm going to share this generational Caymanians right link right now because they are aiming to get 5,000 is the goal. I'm just sharing it. I haven't done anything yet, but right now, 1,269 signatures so far has been, and they have a goal of 5,000. And just, 5, stick a pin with you because what they're saying, what is generational Caymanian? And its aim is to get like official definition of a native indigenous generational Caymanian. And then it breaks it down. A generational indigenous native Caymanian is qualified as a person who meets all of the following requirements. Born in the Cayman Islands, has parents born in the Cayman Islands, grandparent born in the Cayman Islands, lineage traceable to 1930. And then it goes down. It says all requirements must be met to qualify as generational Caymanian. And they have a reason why you need to be defined as a generational Caymanian. Critical reasons why the definition is essential for protecting our heritage, values, and future. And it goes down into Christian foundation, electoral demographics, leadership requirements. So it's quite extensive. I'm just now honestly opening this But I've shared the link here for all of those who want to actually see it. And just when I shared the link, they said that they had received 1,248. Now it's just went up to 248. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, the way they have gone into the detail there, to me, I just find that the government should take this to be indicative of a continuing insecurity about the direction in which the country is going. Because look, if, for example, people were happy with this immigration bill, how come this petition is
out of
coming
nowhere
just
now?
after the bill has
Well,
been
how
passed?
do you know this is not for the next stage? Remember, they said that there's the next phase of it. How do we know this is not data collecting for phase 2? Because even so, what was just passed is not going to come into effect, as they've stated, before March. So then another question came out while I was out and about on Saturday. Well, if it's not coming into effect until March, what was wrong with just doing the debate in January? What was Russia getting it done now?
Are they saying March now? Initially, they had said it was January. Is it March?
March, yeah. What was said, I mean, subject to change, what was actually communicated is that is expected to go in effect as of March of 2026.
Maybe that's one of the changes they might have effected during committee stage, because I didn't watch those very carefully. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, if that now they are saying March, why didn't they just say January? Or because I do not think, frankly, that the assent period, usually assent, it would take 2 to 3 weeks, but in an emergency, it could be done in a week or even less, because I've been through that process. I know that I think it was the Public Service Management Law or some urgent piece of legislation like that. We completed the process within about a week, but normally it would take about 2 to 3 weeks, like if it is just going in the usual way. But I imagine this, you're right, Sabrina, I imagine that this, it may as well be saying we are dissatisfied with what has happened now, but it may well be just saying, well, we are okay with what has been done now, but as you now go out there to tie up the loose ends, we want you to recognize us in this way. But the issue about that is that this recognition, in my view, should have come in the law, not in the regulations. Okay, because what is remaining are the regulations.
Correct.
If you want this to be recognized, this is a major issue of principle. It should have been done in the law. So at the end of the day, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, honestly, I think it boiled down to that. And I think everybody, that's the takeaway that we're getting. Well, it's already done. Maybe now if there's another tranche of this, be it whatever the other tranche will be, the next revision, we will pay a lot more attention. We'll be more vocal. We'll probably attend these meetings. I have definitely seen people switched on. But what is quite unique is that when you speak to, as defined by this petition, the generational Caymanian, and those who have gotten here, who have been here for 20 odd, 30 odd years, they're like, yeah, I want to be a part of it, but I don't think I would be welcomed. And I was like, what? Your voice matters. You're Caymanian. And but they're already not feeling as though, even if they want to participate, because they're not indigenous, they got it through naturalization, they've been here. Let's say teachers, let's say persons who have been here for years, their kids don't know anywhere else, they still don't feel a part of even participating in future legislative changes, and because they're saying, this is not for me. I will always be a paper Caymanian.
You see, that's very, very difficult. And even me, I've only appreciated this much later in life. You know, there is this tendency that we all have to say we are nationals of where our parents came from. There is that's something like I mean, a Jamaican born in the Cayman Islands, of Jamaican parents, there's a degree to which they will always view themselves as Jamaican. Why? Because their parents are from Jamaica. But for those people who are born in Cayman, but they've got some generational links, or their father is a Caymanian, one or both, a grandparent, those will feel that they are Caymanian. But if your parents came to Cayman as immigrants and you are born in Cayman, there is always a way in which, to some degree, you will always be a Jamaican. That's the way it is.
And that is the inclusive part. That is, even if they can contribute, they still have actually pigeonholed themselves, even though they have the right. Yeah. Their voice matters. They're Caymanian. They've pigeonholed themselves because of the environment that has unfortunately been created.
Yeah. And talk about the environment. I'm glad you bring that up about the environment. You see, Caymanians are going to continue to be more welcoming of people from outside if you can assure them of their turf. Okay? If a Caymanian can know that this is my turf, whenever a job is available, it is made available first to me. If I am qualified, I will take it. And if they feel that they are safe within that space, then you will find they will welcome people coming in, because they know that when the people come in, they are not coming to supplant them. They are not coming to take their job. They are coming to be partners. And you'll find that Caymanians are likely to be more receptive to that. The reason that has contributed so much to Caymanians sometimes feeling this objection to foreigners is because when the foreigners come, they are given preference. And as a result, they came
But by who?
Do you see they are given?
But by who?
Well,
it's a mix.
Good question.
It's a mix. Sometimes by our very own generational.
Exactly. And that's the problem. And at the end of the day, the Caymanian doesn't care who subordinates them to these foreign people who come in, whether it is their own person, their own citizens, or whether it is the foreigners. In fact, usually it is a partnership between certain powers in Caymanians as well as foreign people. They are the ones who are keeping Caymanians down. And when you keep Caymanians down, then they become less receptive to people coming in. Because if people can come in, and they play a certain role, and you always know that you'll be given preference so long as you qualify for a job, you are not going to have objections. I've always given this example about the judiciary. In the judiciary, you could have had 2 women, Caymanians, generational, who could have been judges, but they were kept out. Why? Because the judiciary, to tell you the very truth, is controlled by Jamaicans and British people. If you're Jamaican, British, or even from the Eastern Caribbean, you are likely to be a judge. I can give you the example about that. One judge, there's a judge there, I won't call her name, but there's a judge there who is originally from Trinidad. She's married to a British person. I know both names, but I won't call them, so we depersonalize the issue. That person came to the Cayman Islands as a Crown Counsel and rose through the ranks and became an acting judge. Now is a full-time judge. The other Caymanian who was there, who was course administrator, I don't think that she has less experience than that particular person. In fact, they were together as Crown Counsel and so forth. But they directed the Caymanian towards to become an administrator, which I suspect she might not have liked, because most lawyers don't want to become administrators. And then she tried to come back to be a magistrate. But life became complicated for her, and now she's left the judiciary. And do you think that that person is likely to be welcoming of people who come to Cayman and become judges, especially now that they have said judges are not subject to rollover?
Correct, they're exempted.
You see, that person, they're exempted because that person was in that system. They could have been a judge. They only needed 10 years experience to be a judge. They had practically 23 years experience, and they've now been forced to leave. And that person can never be welcoming of foreigners. In fact, that particular person, one of the parents actually is not even from Cayman. It's only the mother who is from Cayman. So to me, I think what Cayman needs to do, and they should interpret this petition as to be at least halfway, being not satisfied with what has been done so far, and also as a sign that they want, in the next tranche of changes, they want to get greater recognition. Because if they were happy with the recognition that they got now, and if they trusted that the government will give them even better recognition, I don't think they would have done the petition. They are doing the petition because at some level they are unhappy about this, and we'll see how it's going to be.
Let's
But
see
the
how it plays
population
out.
increase
Correct.
really is, it's going to be the population increase. I think one of the years, population went up by about 14%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was high. Usually it was 4 to 5%, but in 1 year it went up by about 14%. I mean, Cayman is just totally drowning. I mean, to me, as I see it, in about 10 to 15 years, the people who have done this petition, they should transform it to become an association for the preservation of indigenous rights in the same way that they have like in the United States and in Canada, because you are going down very, very, very quickly, and the government better realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
thank you for your
thank
feedback.
you for the time, Sabrina.
Always appreciate your feedback and your
much.
contribution. Take care,
Right.
sir. Thank you.
You too.
Sure. There we have it. 345-936-8255 is the number to call. I see where there's another scheduled program. Like I can probably go over, I can steal about 15 minutes tonight without having to log off from the CMR platforms. Just to let you know, I'll only do like 10 to 15 minutes though. Outside of that, we want to keep it real to make a way for all of our other content creators. Wake Up Cayman says, what about dual citizenship? What about it? Wake Up Cayman. Tell me, what do you give me a little bit more context so that I can respond to that. Come home and fight with us. Cameron is asking for Mr. Balika. Denny says, Premier should be ashamed of himself. Good evening, Dan. Oh, there you go. Good evening. How are you?
Not bad. How are you doing?
I'm good. You're calling me straight, are you?
Yes.
Okay, I got another caller, but go ahead. Let's see how far this is going to go before merging.
Well, I'm just going to say a few words on this immigration thing before reverting to that issue of crime.
Go ahead.
If you have a set of Caymanians that can run for office, and you have a set of Caymanians who cannot run for office, why would you give them the same label? How do you tell the distinction?
Interesting.
You see that is the reason why you would say a Caymanian is the group that can run for office, and a new Caymanian is the one who can't run for office. Now, what is important to understand is that the children of new Caymanians will be Caymanians who can run for office. Right? It's a very clean way of labeling, not for the purposes of for any malicious intent,
right,
but for ease of use, but in terms of writing legislation and having communications about concepts. And the idea that it would be said to be divisive is to ignore the current reality, because the concepts that I'm referring to when I say Caymanian and New Caymanian exist in law. The average person struggle with the fact that with that fact, and politicians can sort of misdirect people by saying that if you listen to me, it would be divisive.
Right.
That's nonsense. Pure baloney. None of the current politicians can tell me that the concepts I'm talking about when I say Caymanian versus New Caymanian, none of them, not one, can say to me, can prove to me that what I'm saying is incorrect. It already exists in law. You know personally that what I'm saying, it exists in law. Immigration is your area, right? I'm not making up something that's new. I'm just saying, let's put a proper description, definition to it, so that when we do go and write new legislation, we can write the legislation in a way that is more understandable to the general public. This idea that Minister Miles talked about that legislation is written for the people behind him to do their jobs. That's nonsense. Legislation is written for the public to understand what their obligations are in society. But if you write it in a way that they can't understand, you think that's intelligent? That's foolish. Anyhow, I'll leave immigration alone for the moment.
Go ahead. Next.
Crime. I do not believe that having people take off a mask is going to solve crime. Going to make people feel good about crime. But I'm not good about crime.
Hold on. Go ahead.
I'm interested in us actually having proper measures in place to deter crime. And what Billy touched on something that I was going to address, which is what can property owners do without waiting on the government to put in any legislative measures. Each landowner, if you privately own land, whether it's commercial or residential, you can put up a sign saying that on your property, no face mask allowed. You can say that. The reason why you can say that, and it will not be a human rights issue, is because your human rights, remember I said that when I talked about what rights are, that you shouldn't think of them as something you can do, but something the government cannot do. Well, because the human rights that's in the Constitution order are what are called vertical rights. It means that your protection from being prohibited to do something is against the government. My protection I have no protection from you, Sabrina. If you put a sign in your yard saying that if I want to come on your property, I must take off the mask, then I would be trespassing on your property against your rules. It's no different if you go to a supermarket and you see a sign that says sandals required, a shirt is required. It's you're signing. You're not literally signing a contract, but the fact that you walk into the store knowing that the store's rules are you must be wearing at least sandals, you must be wearing at least a t-shirt. The fact that you walk in the store is evidence that you accept those rules.
Correct.
Otherwise, you should turn around and leave because they can throw you out. And the same is true for a mask. Because I don't have any human right protections against you. I only have those protections against the government. This is why the Commissioner of Police is saying what he's saying about how you handle this situation, because he's an agency of government. And the human rights protections are against the government. Not against fellow citizens. So if store owners put up a sign tonight that says that no mask allowed on this property. Yeah, this is ironic, because just a few years ago we were saying you can't come in.
But I remember in banks and that sort of stuff, you had to just pull it down for a second just so that the camera would actually see you and then pull it back up quickly. So look at how,
all of those things are still possible today.
Hold on one second. Let me merge this. Hold on a second. I'm going to do a merger. There we go. Caller, you're on hold. It's merger. You hearing us?
Hello.
Hi there. Denny is still on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anybody who's listening to this call right now can just go put up their sign saying that no wearing of mask allowed on the property, if that's what they want. If they want some other variation, if they say, well, you could wear a mask, but I'll require you to show your face before I allow you, whatever they feel comfortable with.
And they wouldn't be against human rights by making that rule to enter their premise.
No, absolutely not. Because
rights are owed by the state, not citizen to citizen.
Right. I don't have any human rights protection against you, and you don't have any human rights protections against me. That is why you have primary legislation that says you can't murder someone. That's my defense against you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or you can't steal my property. That's my defense against you, but that's not a human right. That's a crime that you're prohibited from carrying out against me and me against you. But that's primary legislation. That's not human rights legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So no, there won't be any human rights issues whatsoever if a business puts up a sign and says, no mask allowed on this property at any time.
Right. Well, you see, I love the fact that you broke that down, because then people may actually have to do that now to protect themselves and to make their customers comfortable.
Well, they should, because now
it's a simple fix as well.
Because now, if somebody comes on your property and do not want to follow the rules that you have every right posted, you can call the police, and the police now can come and do something.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Siobhan?
I just wanted to chime in there if I could. And I like, Bennett, you always putting it down. You have church on Sabrina show. You and Mr. Billy. I'm telling you. Won't he do it? But again.
I wonder if she has an amen button.
It's for me to find
maybe a hallelujah button or something.
I got a hallelujah.
I really appreciate how you broke that down and spell that out, Denny. Forgive me, I'm a little out of breath of getting in my steps. But when I saw the motion, first of all, I watched the robbery, and initially I thought it was a commercial. Don't ask me why. And then I said, no, this must be AI. It was too cavalier for me. Let me say that first. Let me say there was no urgency in those robbers in their hands. There was no.
It was
urgency.
as though they were shopping.
I thought they were too. I honestly thought they were. There was a lady in the video drinking a whole glass of wine, totally unbothered.
Mm-hmm.
Homegirl was unbothered. But lest I digress. When I saw that the member for Georgetown Central, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, brought the motion to the House to ban face coverings, my first, I don't know, as a student who read law at a postgraduate level, I think I can speak to it. The first thing that we were taught was, when government is going to enact legislation, similar to what Dennis said, are you infringing upon anyone's rights? That was the first thing that came to mind. And in theory, like if you, I guess, in this case, it seems like a quick fix. We're going to ban face coverings if we never have no more robberies. Well, we know that's not true. We know that that's not true. They're robbing them on the beach. They're robbing them on the beach without face coverings in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that that's not it. But my dad always says, like Danny also said, we should be coming from a place of deterrence versus reactionary policing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the pleasure of having two officers visit my home this weekend, and I said, the force just isn't the same. I said, you all take this very cutesy, cutie-patootie, laissez-faire approach to crime. Now it seems like, I mean, I'm about to start pelting cars in my neighborhood just for speeding because I have children who live here. And I have children who are younger than mine. And I'm saying, guys, this is not going to work. Some other car going to get mashed up because I'm about the car. That sounds very crazy, but what are my options, right? Leave that there for a second and head back to what Denny was saying. Rights are vertical. The government owes a right to a citizen. Horizontally, there's nothing. Citizens don't owe each other a right. There's legislation that prohibits you from doing stuff to other citizens. But again, the state has to bring that by way of criminal action, right? My concern was, and I know the sentiment of the Caymanian people, nobody needs to text me and tell me, you don't need to be concerned about them. I know how I want to feel. But I actually ran into a lady, Cody, at Health City in East End, who is of the Muslim faith, who had on full head covering. I'm not sure what it's called, so I'm not going to attempt to say it because I don't want to be disrespectful to them. But she had on the full face covering. She had a slit across her eyes. We enact that kind of legislation, we run the risk of infringing on their human rights as well. I know the sentiment of, let's say, the Caymanian people or the Caymanian population and how they feel about that. It is an infringement nonetheless. And the moment that we start to move the needle, that we are happy to infringe on anyone's human right, it becomes an infringement of ours as well. It becomes an infringement of ours as well because you can say, well, I don't give a crap about the Muslims. Let them take off their head thing. If they want to wear it, tell them to go back where they came from. Well, some of those Muslims are actually becoming, not becoming Caymanian. Some of those Muslims, some Caymanians have actually converted to Islam, right? We're going to be infringing on their rights as well. For me, what I would like the commissioner to, I guess, enlighten us is, why aren't we coming from a place of deterrence rather just responding to these, kind of whiplash responses to these criminal offenses? I mean, was that a 2-day spate of robberies that we had? We had, I think, Western Union was robbed.
And then pretty much across the road from Parliament.
The police so close that they could spit on the Western Union. And so, again, where's the police presence? My dad used to say often, if you are take speeding cars, for instance. I grew up in the era on West Bay Road where I had to leave home at like 6:30 to get to school. Thank God that's not the case no more, but it can soon be. They better slow down. But if you put police cars, you knew that at 7:30 you could not turn down Governor's Harbour because there was going to be a police
posted somewhere there,
presence there, posted there, right? It served as a deterrent. Will we ever get to a place of 100% crime-free? No. But we can surely do a whole lot more and a whole lot better than we're doing by simply having police posted. Security guards without the ability to properly defend the premise is a joke. It's a farce.
But caller, I stick a pin. With our projected population continuing to go, and we're confirmed that we're pretty much at 89,000 at this time.
By the end of the year, we're going to be at 90.
There we go. Where do you see the strategy, the resources then, in order to deal with this bloom?
We don't have them. I'm not sure if the commissioner has said it publicly, but I have friends, very good friends, and they refuse to call it a police force anymore. They call it a police service as if there's some appliance technician or something. It's force.
Officially, it's a service now.
I know. But I'm just saying, that's why they've lost all of their bark and no bite, to be honest. But again, I said to him, I don't think that you guys appreciate how little respect that the public has for the police, which is very different than like when I was growing up, when I was a kid. Like if you saw a police, you sat up a little bit straighter. You may
Give me
have
1
your
minute.
seatbelt
Give me
on.
stick a pin. Let me just remove myself from the CMR platform, and I will share the links so that you can continue to watch me. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I will make way. Please continue to follow me. This conversation will continue, but I have to remove myself from the CMR platform pages so that we can continue this discussion. Please, I've posted the link up there, so find me there. 1 second, guys.